Good day, you're watching informational Время. The tragic events unfolding in Azerbaijan came to a conclusion today. Former Azerbaijan Deputy Minister of Interior Ravshan Javadov, that rose mutiny against Gaidar Aliyev, was killed during shootout by government troops. According to military prosecutor's office in Baku, the most insurgents laid their weapons. According to preliminary data, when center of insurgent was attacked, 30 people got killed and 2 reporters from Reiter and Turan. More than 60 people were wounded. This, all the unofficial data, was given to Interfax by Ministry of Health of Azerbaijan. About 160 fighters of APON were arrested. Minister of Security of Azerbaijan, Abbasov, reported that this attempt, coup d'etat, was carefully prepared on the last stage to Javadov. Ex-President Ayaz Mutalibov and Surat Guseynov, ex-premier, were supposed to join him. Ukrainian parliament make a decision about Crimean issue. It declared that Crimean constitution and president position have no legal power. Today, Supreme discussed the situation in Crimea. During the last half a year, Ukrainian parliament 3 times asked their Crimean partners to bring the legislation of Crimea into accordance to laws of Ukraine. During this time, People's Deputies of Ukraine declared invalid dozens of acts passed by Crimean legislature. When their patience ran out, Supreme Soviet of Ukraine passed a set of legislative measures. They declared position of president in Crimea invalid. Prosecutor's office will bring charges against president of Crimea for not complying with constitution. Constitution of Crimea, which was passed on May 6, 1992, it was declared invalid. According to Ukrainian parliament decision, Crimean deputies should made in a month. Right now, Crimean legal status is defined by Constitution of Ukraine. The state symbols of autonomy is the state symbols of Ukraine. Ukraine will guarantee the legal status of Crimea. The documents have legal force from the time they're published. Today in Grozny there was a meeting of government commission that considered necessary measures to rebuild Chechnya economy. First, Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Saskavets declared that Grozny is not the fighting area and Grozny had all the conditions to rebuild. You can talk about rebuilding, have destroyed Grozny. One of the most important objects is the hospital number 9 that first Prime Minister Alexei Saskavets visited. In this hospital, there is one of the centers where water is dispersed, which is delivered by tanks. Alexei Saskavets found that on a plant that bakes, on a bakery plant, they don't have enough dough. It also was found that because Ministry of Geology will bring water. Aviation brought several drills to pump water. On the railroad station, he demanded the rebuilding works. We must begin rebuilding works because we have to bring a lot of shipments, and unfortunately the work is not going fast enough. I must tell you that the decision that was taken about suspending military operations, that was taken by Security Council, President Security Council, they are enforced. And last time, federal forces weren't attacking insurgents in Chechnya, but there are still shootouts. According to Itar TASS, the large fight with combat was taken by Chechen Alul. Recently passed federal program of support of handicapped people gives 200 billion rubles to handicapped people of Russia. Anatoly Sachi said. The representatives of Russian Fund of Handicapped Afghanistan veterans said that the money that are given to fund and generated by the fund itself are sent to the factories that use handicapped labor, but Russian government and other agencies believe that part of the money should be sent not only to rehabilitate Afghanistan veterans, but those who got wounded in Chechnya. To this region, according to Ilya Susafin, humanitarian aid was was sent many times, and Afghan veterans visited hospitals where wounded lay. Handicapped from Chechnya shouldn't be the burden to the society. They shouldn't feel inferior. In that, their support was ensured by representatives of Russian State Duma, Red Cross and other agencies. State Duma has the project of federal law of regulating the political situation in Chechnya. After the chairman of Parliament Commission, Stanislav Govorukhin, made his report. The President, State Duma's Commission, Chechnya works only a month and a half, so Govorukhin didn't come up with a report, but he came up with some conclusions. He believed that Ivan Rybkin and Duma should be peacemakers, but deputies spent half a day for discussion, and today they decided not to hurry up, and the laws were given to committees to prepare the law of regulating the situation in Chechnya. As a part of information, the law enforcement officials informed about investigation of murders of Igor Talkov. The murderer is found, and in Dmitry Holdov cases and Andrei Azerses, there is some evidence that is found, and Sergei Skoroshkin and Vladislav Matimyanov and Vladislav Listev is still going. Then they become discussing criminal situation in general, and suddenly it turned on deputies themselves to gather evidence without bringing charges is forbidden. So what can we do? We got vicious circle, and everything as it was before. Therefore, every second deputy evaded responsibility. As Gaidanov said, because parliaments are protected from criminal charges by deputy documents. Sergei Mavrodik upset many colleagues. They decided not to give him February's salary because he didn't show up in Duma, and then he should make a report about his MMM activity. At the end, the report was circulated about organizing the political movement Duma 96. It has the same tasks, and the goal is to get prepared for elections. They put emphasis on professionals in all areas of life, and also in parliament. State Duma today again attempted to include into agenda the question of converting Ostankino into a joint stock company. They didn't have 20 votes to make it happen. Our reporter decided to ask representatives for different fractions why there is such an interest to Ostankino. I believe that TV should be free, that we should talk about nationalizing this channel. No, it's not right. What we should do, we should listen to those who work in Ostankino. Any ambivalence in this situation, it works against the government. I believe that the government should be very careful when it decides to sell state property, and also especially when it has to do with ideology. First, I'm a supporter of creation of independent TV stations, but also I support that the idea that the state should have state TV company. No one has the right to blame the first channel. This is the face of Russian TV and radio. No one acts in his own private interests. A watchdog council should be created from representatives of society, and it will help to solve this problem. The situation in Ostankino was commented by President Yeltsin during his briefing with reporters. Boris Nikolaevich, resignation of Yakovlev. This is not resignation, he just asked for it. I don't want to give you all the details, but right now he's working on establishing new party. Of course, it's hard for him to do two things at the same time. It's not easy for him. And the creation of such a party, democratic, united party, that would play a major role in election campaign is extremely important. So his role over there is more important than here, and that's why we came to agreement. He agreed. That's why we did it. Well, with regard to Lazutkin, everyone knows Valentin Lazutkin. People know him. Ostankino staff respects him. I should say that he knows all the nuts and bolts, all the details, technology, as TV people say. So we had some issues with him, but I don't hold grudge against him. I decided to forget about that. Half an hour ago, we received official confirmation that Valentin Lazutkin is appointed the head of Federal TV and Radio Committee. President Yeltsin accepted resignation of Alexander Yakovlev. Valentin Lazutkin is 50 years old. He worked on TV from 1974. From 1991, he is the first deputy of Ostankino company. From December 1993, he is a deputy chair of TV and Radio Committee. The new appointment of Valentin Lazutkin caused no dissatisfaction in Ostankino staff. Today there was a telephone conversation between Russian President and Kazakh President. Boris Yeltsin expressed his understanding of the situation in Kazakhstan and expressed his hope that the new elections in Kazakhstan will be done and according to democratic rules. Both of them they recognized that the law and constitution should be followed in democratic state. Government Russia prepares state budget for 1996. It was discussed on a meeting of Ivan Rybkin and Viktor Chernomyrdin. According to Speaker's opinion, the budget of 1996 should be presented to Duma this spring. Today in Moscow, agribusiness managers get together to discuss the problems of agriculture and industry. During their conference, the concept of agrarian policy and supplying food to Federation was presented. The idea is to make Russia self-reliant on products. Prime Minister Chernomyrdin said that our country is agrarian and we should feed ourselves, and we must do it. A lot of things have to be done in order to solve all the problems. Today, we need the support. Not only the government, but President also passes acts before the major laws are not passed. Government also paid attention to traffic accidents. Today there was a special meeting of governmental commission. Reports from today's roads are dissatisfying. Although our traffic police works hard, there are many reasons for that. And the first is the significant increase of the amount of traffic on the road, the lack of modern traffic roundabouts, not compliance with laws of road. And right now governmental commission takes care of that. Will our life become easier? The commission considered two questions. First, the tendency in traffic accidents in the country that are current, and the decision was taken to recommend 12 agencies, different agencies, to consider the issues of road safety on their own meetings. The cars that are brought from abroad to Russia should be inspected, those that are old and those that can't pass inspection in the countries that they were taken from, and accordingly they're not up to Russian standards. Those cars that are home-built, so-called home-built cars, and the cars that are limited edition cars that are not certified by state. The second day, the hunger strike of mining leaders, trade union leaders, is in Vorkuta. They demand the arrival of government commission who will be authorized to make the important decision. The largest mining companies on Far East began their strike. They demand their salary debt, 60 billion rubles owed by the state and 100 billion rubles owed by the clients. In Belarus, a conventional weapons treaty is suspended. Many years arms race created the unique situation. It has so many weapons that the Republic is most militarized in the world. As a result, the weapons that have to be dismantled, they have more weapons than the United States, Britain and France to be dismantled. The dismantling on one tank costs $2,500, and to take plane apart is $400. That's why they supported conventional weapons treaty that should have financed the dismantling of weapons. Western states, when they were during the talks, they promised to finance the dismantling of weapons. Where is this financing? Why Belarusian people should finance from their budget the dismantling of weapons? We don't have the financing to dismantle the weapons. The decision of Alexander Lukashenko to suspend the dismantling of tanks and other military armaments has not only political background, but also the treaty that was signed 2 years ago took into account the balance of two blocs, NATO and Warsaw Treaty. I don't like that NATO is moving closer to Belarusian border. We're not comfortable with that. Another reason to think about safety of Russia gives the report of our reporters from Bishkek. They have no air warning system. If borders are protected by Russian troops, no one protects the air. The center's radio location sites are sealed off. Kyrgyzia has no money to maintain it, and this is the window that is open to the plane and to the missile from over there. Since we don't have warning systems, RLS stations are partly dismantled. Since warning system is not in place, therefore I think the plane might go up to Ural Mountains, Arkhangelsk, if they have Russian warning systems. Characteristic detail of the last years, a lot of NATO groups come to Kyrgyzia. It's easy to guess that the groups have their own strategic goal. The small mountainous republic that has no money to finance their army, that has 12,000 fighters, have several military airfields that are located between China and Russia. Although these airfields are sealed off, but they could be rebuilt. If during 1994 Russians will not express their position, I think there would be other forces, other states that will express serious interest, and they will do their own things in our republic. Today is the 4th anniversary of referendum where most citizens of, at that time, existing Soviet Union voted for keeping Soviet Union together. In many Ukrainian cities, the meetings were held that would commemorate to this event. The participants talked that they don't talk about restoring Russia as an empire, they talk about closer cooperation of independent states. In Moscow, several organizations, left-oriented, held their meeting. The speakers and the main speaker was Sergio Malota, that was introduced as the chairman of Presidium of Soviet deputies. They use the speaker's stand to criticize the current political leadership of Russia and to criticize reforms. Several representatives of Zhirinovsky party showed up. They called for civil disobedience, to arrest and to bring to trial those who are guilty in breaking Soviet Union apart and joining all the republics together. It was conspicuous that most people, those who gathered at the meeting, were old. And now space news. On board of space station Mir, Russian-American flight works. From today on Mir station, the work began. Old-timers, the new flight takes over the responsibility, but space station is overcrowded, and the last time when 6 people worked on the station, life supporting system gave up. Right now it's corrected, but the problem will be really solved when Model Spectre will be launched into space. It has 4 solar panels that will give what's lacking in the station right now. Well, something unexpected was brought to astronauts. Unexpectedly, the Russian Prime Minister decided to talk to the crew. Viktor Chernomyrdin congratulated the flight crew. I'm very glad that the program that I have on my table that was signed with Mr. Gore is going as expected. I would like to ask Yelena Kondakova, how do you handle such a large male group? How do you feel? Thank you. Everything is going well. I think that I'm lucky that I'm the only woman in such a group of men. I can say that figuratively, and in direct sense they support me. Afghanistan President Rabbani acknowledged that he doesn't want to resign on March 21st as foreseen by United Nations plan of restoring peace in Afghanistan. Rabbani said that he supports United Nations strategy, but it could happen only if there will be a reliable mechanism of transferring power. After Muslim sniper killed 2 Serbian girls, the leadership of Bosnian Serbs closed blue corridors, where humanitarian aid will be delivered to Muslim part of Sarajevo. It also stated that every time sniper kills Serb, the blue corridor would be closed for a month. The new attack happened in Dvortem and Ilar at Turkish businesses. Unknown people throw Molotov cocktails at offices and cultural centers. Today is the national holiday of all Irish people, St. Patrick's Day, that is celebrated throughout the world. But the quality of the celebration is worsened. President Clinton provoked scandal himself when he invited on St. Patrick's Day the leader of Sinn Féin, Gerry Adams, that London doesn't like. The last straw that was enough to British authorities was the opening of office in Washington, Sinn Féin representatives. Sinn Féin is the political wing of terrorist IRA. It was the major force in 25-year-old war in Northern Ireland, and right now the official office will allow United States them to do fundraising on the United States. London didn't like it. Bill Clinton, when he felt that he's getting problems with his British partner, tried to get in touch with British Premier, but upset Joint Major refused to come to the phone, saying that he was busy. Of course, this is something very unusual in the relationship with his states. By his political move, Bill Clinton created tension between the countries. Is he concerned with that? Well, of course, no. The most important is to get high scores for elections. There are 50 million Irish Americans on the territory of the United States. That's a lot. Clinton considered himself Irish a lot. Kennedy family also has Irish roots. Irish said, there is a saying that if you want to find out that there are more Irishes than Chinese, you can just count redheads on the earth. United States Congress decided to block Russian-American Treaty of Cooperation in Atomic Agency area. Unless Russia stops construction of nuclear power plants. Commenting on this decision, the director of Department of Asia of Russian Ministry said that Russia will not follow what other countries tell it. The first visit of Fidel Castro to France came to an end. In the beginning of revolution, the bearded one dreamed about going to Paris to visit the wall where revolutionaries are buried. All dreams come true, and Fidel visited France, but there were no reports about visiting Père Lachaise cemetery. Instead of that, Cuban leader visited Burgundy. He said that he was most impressed by wines, Chablis. Parisians, and not only Parisians, were impressed by new appearance of Commandante, his civil suit. He showed up in this suit in Copenhagen on Poverty Forum. His unplanned visit created quite a commotion. His elegant dress impressed everyone. While talking about dress, a couple of months ago, Fidel ordered several suits from European designer. This designer would come to Havana once a week when he was doing that. Cuban government paid for that. Cuban government also paid for his visit when he decided to stay in Paris one more day after 3 days visit. Although his visit to France was unofficial, he was well accepted. He lived in the government guest house. He was meeting Mitterrand daily. So everything that comes with official visits, but there were no Cuban flags on streets of Paris. And all the Mitterrands slapped Fidel on the wrist for human rights abuse. Visit was successful, especially Fidel Castro talked to the representatives of French business circles. He asked them to invest into Cuban economy. When he talked to the representatives of more than 250 businesses, he said that he did not become capitalist because it's too late for him to change his convictions, but he outlined the set of advantages or favorable terms that are given to French businesses in Cuba. Today, President Yeltsin signed the decree where he accepted the resignation of Vladimir Kokonin. This decision was explained by that Vladimir Kokonin is given another job. According to the decree, executive manager will take care of Bolshoi Theater. Recently, Boris Yeltsin decided to open a golden book, New Names, the 20th century to the 21st century, where he suggested to write in the names of the most gifted musicians, mathematicians, and other kids. Recently, in this book, the kids from Republic Sakha were written in. I would like to sing. The young citizens of Sakha lives in so-called Canadian village that is 15 kilometers from Yakutsk, and they study in school, musical school that was given by president and the government to gifted children. Today, young kids go to study at the professor of Tokyo and Paris Conservatory teaches them. They choose young talents throughout Yakutia. They get all necessary musical education there. This is the future of musical art of Yakutia. President of Russia, Boris Yeltsin, opening Golden Book, New Names, 20th century to the 21st century, asked the leaders of the other states to support his movement. One of the first who left the signature in his book, Mikhail Nikolaev, the president of Republic Sakha, with 3 names were entered. Young talents that we have in the Republic, our goal is to support them. We try to seek talents, we try to seek leaders, we try to grow elite. Without it, we have no future. Today in Republic of Sakha, the idea that real talent should be supported is the governmental policy. A lot of government allocations go to support arts. And the new names will belong to the 21st century. Information from sports after the episode that has to do with sports. And National Sports Committee, there was a presentation of collector's edition books about outstanding sportsman Tretiak, Smyslov. They talk about other plans of publishing company, Institute Leonardo, that published those books. Some of them will be given as a gift to members of Leonardo Club. Members of this club are representatives of science. There will be books about sports, science, and chess. All these books come with a special envelope and certificate. One of the main provisions is the necessity of disseminating the knowledge about sports. It unites people of different races, colors, and ethnic background. In the books, they talk about best in sport and about best sportsmen. Good evening. As you probably already know, before the final round of CSKA Olympiad, that fighting the entered final of club championship in Europe basketball, several sportsmen were hospitalized with poison. Their condition was quite serious. As a result, CSKA lost 54-79. The Russians had to play in 3 after Kurashov and Avdeyev was taken out. The three teams are defined, those who will continue to compete in NHL Cup. The quarterfinal is of European Soccer Cup, and Italian Sampdoria made median sensation when it defeated Port, ensuring by the set of 11 meters the ticket to the next level. The next Italian rival will be Arsenal. Today in Zurich, it was defined who will go in a semi-final of Champions League. Saint-Germain takes Bavaria. There will be 2 Italian-German duels, TV Bayer versus Parma and Juventus Borussia versus Dortmund. In pre-season games, soccer tournament of 4, Moscow Spartak defeated Vladikavkaz. The Lokomotiv team defeated Dynamo 4-3. Chess news. After the 12th round of traditional chess tournament in Linares, the leader, Vasily Ivanchuk, emerged, who defeated Sergei Telenkov from Russia. Anatoly Karpov has half scorer less. He has tied with Lyubomir Lyubovich. Eugene Kafelnikov and Alexander Lokov reached semi-final in St. Petersburg Open Tournament. Kafelnik defeated Swiss Jakub Hlasik. Volkov defeated Sebastian Larroux. In Ski World Championship in Canada, Russian men's team was unsuccessful. Our team got the 6th place. Norwegians won. The 2nd place was taken by Finnish, and the 3rd was taken by Italians. At the end, I would like to give you information to fans of autosport. Tomorrow, on channel Ostankino at 3:15 p.m., you can watch big races. Those who love speed will be satisfied. Now the weather. Good evening. Those who live in the European part of Russia felt the change in climate. It has to do with the dissolving of cold anticyclone and the cold influence of Atlantic hurricane that is above Scandinavia. The cyclone and atmospheric fronts that will move from Kolsky Peninsula to Arkhangelsk region and then to the central region will define the weather in Murmansk, Arkhangelsk, Karelia and Nenetsk autonomous region. -2+3 cloudy. In Republic Komi and Volgovetsky region will be under influence of high pressure, partly cloudy, 0+5. Atmospheric front from the west will bring to Baltic states and northwest region rains, +1.6. Under the Belarusia, Moldavia, most part of Ukraine will be under the influence of these clouds, cloudy, +2.7. On the east of the Ukraine, central Chernozemny region will be cloudy. In the central region, the weather will get worse, gets more clouded, 0-5. In Volga, lower Volga region and middle Volga region have high pressure area, no significant precipitation, 0+5. In Stavrodarsky and Krasnopolsky region, an atmospheric front, the temperature is +7, 12. In Stavropol, it's colder, +3, 8. In North Caucasus republics, -2, +3. On Black Sea shore of Krasnodar region, temperatures are +11, 16. In Caucasian states, cloudy, +10, 15, partly cloudy. In Azerbaijan, +7, 11. In St. Petersburg, cloudy, chances of rain +2, 4. In Moscow, cloudy, get snow, southern winds -3, 5, during the day about 0. The same weather will be on Sunday. We'll get no sun in the recent days, but don't be upset because the spring is close.